Well, welcome back, everybody, to the Lead Up Podcast, where we connect with dope and diverse leaders to learn more about their leadership journey so you can level up in your leadership. Hashtag Lead Up. As always, I want to give a special shout out to Darling New Media, Sacramento's premier podcast studios, here to help tell your story. They are located in Midtown Sacramento. Check out their services at darlingnewmedia.com and connect with my guy, Nate. And of course, can't forget about you, the listeners, the viewers, tuning into the podcast. It means so much to me. It's amazing. This journey has been incredible. But without further ado, I want to welcome our next guest for episode 44. None other than Caliph. Brother Caliph, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. It's good to be here.
Yeah, man. How's the weather going in San Diego right now?
Actually, it is a little bit cloudy today. Honestly, we have what's called the June gloom, May gray and June gloom. So right now it's a little bit off, but it's going to be beautiful later, like 74 and sunny.
Yeah. See,
yeah, so
I was wondering how much, because right now it's about to be like in the hundreds today. So I think I'd rather be in that San Diego gloom.
Yeah. It's funny. My partner lives up there. I'm like, I said, I'll prefer 64 and overcast to 100 and whatever the heck, which is exactly why I moved here. You know what I mean? I love Sacramento, but
I hear you. And we'll get to that about kind of that transition, because I know there's a whole journey there and story. But before we get to that, just tell us, who is Caliph? Tell us a little about your background, where you're from, who you are, man. Who is Caliph?
Yeah, cool. Thank you for that. Well, again, it's good to be here, brother. And Caliph Assagai, I'm from Sacramento, California, born and raised. Grew up in Greenhaven, went to McClatchy, attended UC Davis for undergrad, and I'm a motivational speaker. And in fact, my first couple speeches that I gave in the educational setting were actually for IYT, which is where I met you. And I came from politics to personal development after I graduated from law school at UCLA, because I realized that I wasn't going to run for office like I'd been planning to do for 10 years. I went on a journey to kind of find myself, and I realized that I had multiple talents, and the same talent that had supported my quest for public office was going to allow me to be successful in another field, which was personal development. So I started speaking, and that brought me out here to San Diego because I wanted to kind of create a new identity for myself. And I found it difficult to do in Sacramento because I had so many roots there, so much history there. And so I decided to make a move down to San Diego, become a surfer, live by the beach. And that's who I am today, man. I do speaking, coaching, mostly coaching, and I still do policy consulting. I just do it from the beach. So it's a little bit different. The business that I left in Sacramento was a lobbying business. And so, so that's a little bit about me. There's a lot more, but I know you have some questions. So
we'll for sure. And I loved it because when we were trying to set this up, you're like, yeah, it's going to be a good day, man. I'm going to go to the beach, surf, and they would do a podcast. That sounds like a good day. I'm like, that's awesome, man. That's kind of the life that you set out for yourself. And I definitely want to dive a little bit more into that journey, because as we met a couple of years ago, before you transitioned to San Diego,
it's been quite a while now.
Yeah. And, I knew you as a speaker, someone that was very motivational in politics. But then it kind of quickly shifted to now where you are today, right? Living that beach life and really living out your dream and how you want to set it up. And I really want to get into like, what led you to that? Because for somebody that may have invested, it sounds like you went to school, resources, money, time, like energy, equity, for someone to invest so much of that to do something and then completely do something else, it's like, all right, what was that wasted time, or was that something that I can use? Does that make sense? Like, so
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Brother, that's a great question as far as the wasted time and making that transition. So let me explain kind of what my thought process was. I grew up in Sacramento. Like I said, my dad was the chief of staff to the president pro tem of the Senate. And I grew up around politics my entire life. One of the things that happened is that I was naturally comfortable in that environment. Having been exposed to it, I wasn't intimidated by judges or elected officials or the Capitol building and public policy generally. In college, I found my own talent for it. I went to UC Davis. I was supposed to be a doctor, and quickly learned in basically about Chem 2B that was not about to be my thing. Like that's
right. Chem 2B, right? Got it.
Good. Yeah. Hit some titrations, and I was like, nah, I'm out of here. And honestly, I just didn't enjoy the work, right? I was in school with people who were all about it. They wanted to study all the time. And at that
Mm-hmm.
time, I went to college in 2001. So 9/11 had just happened. And a
Mm,
lot more people were engaging in political discourse because of the response to the attack. Now, for me, I've spent a lot more time talking about that in my private life, talking about my experience of being a person of color at a predominantly white institution. And so my focus really started shifting towards like social, or I should say, sociology, political science,
mm-hmm.
and I wanted to do kind of a double major, but I ended up just moving to political science because I said to myself, I want to be in classes that are something I want to talk about, I want to engage in. In doing so, I ended up running for student council or student body senate at UC Davis and winning an election there. Then eventually becoming the student body president. And that was kind of where I found my value, right? My first sense of significance. I didn't feel very
Mm,
valuable in high school. I wasn't, considered a leader necessarily back then, or at least I didn't see myself that way.
yeah.
So this was kind of my coming of age in college and finding out that I had these talents and abilities. Fast forward, once I became president, I decided I wanted to do politics for a career. So I went and worked in the Capitol as an intern, worked in the Capitol as a fellow, worked in DC as a fellow, went to law school at UCLA, got a specialization in public interest law and policy, critical race studies. Um, and then graduated, came home to Sacramento, got a job in Oak Park, which is a historically Black community in Sacramento, where my family is from, doing like organizing and advocacy, right? So, you have from age basically 20 when I started in politics to at this time, I'm about 30, graduating law school at 29, turning 30 the same year. And um, I'm deep in it. I'm ready to go, knocking on
Mm-hmm.
doors
Right.
and, start seeking to raise money and all that stuff. And then what happened is I realized that I had been pursuing like this dream for so long and pursuing success for so long. And I learned that I was attaching success with my worth and my value. And I was
Mm,
attaching significance to those things that I had going on. And so I had my identity so wrapped up in those things that I didn't know who I was without it.
right.
And I had a conversation with the mentor who basically told me, he said, Khalid, you are going to be in a place where even if you win, you lose because you're running against an incumbent. You're going to piss a
Mm,
bunch of people off, basically. And he's like, and if you lose, then you've done all that without a benefit on the end. And
right.
so I said to myself, I said, first of all, this is going to cause a lot of tension, a lot of stress. And for me, I'm going to be thrust in the public eye. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, I probably need some time to just exist for a minute, as a priority. Like, can I just sit here and be?
Yeah.
And so that's when I made the decision to start asking myself, what do I actually want? What does
Yeah.
my life look like? If I don't have to run for office in Sacramento, if
Right.
that's not the only option available to me,
Yeah.
then what would I do? And I was
Yeah.
like, bro, I would move to the beach and become a surfer, period.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
Yeah.
know how I'm going to do it, but that's what I'm going to do. And so at that time, I got into personal development and I started
Mm-hmm.
watching a lot of motivational speeches. And I just one from Les Brown, I listened to like probably 10, 12 times a day. And at
Yeah.
this time, I just started my business, public interest advocacy, and I was working like 14-hour days. So I had a lot of time to listen.
Yeah.
And he said, he told this story where he said everybody has a special skill or ability. And he said there's this
Mm-hmm.
baseball team that was at the bottom of the league and a new owner bought the team and went to the pitcher and he said, "What's your best pitch?" He said, "Well, I have a fastball, I have a curveball, I got a." He said, "No, what's your best pitch?"
Mm-hmm.
He just, "It's my fastball." He said, "All right, just develop your fastball, and you know that's it." The next year they went to the World Series, and he's like, "If some people take their talent, the thing that they're best at, and become the
Mm-hmm.
greatest at it, it will allow them to live their dream." So I said to me
Mm,
myself, I said, "Well, I've been spending all this time doing political speeches. I've
yeah.
been spending all this time uh, building rapport with people around politics and votes.
Right.
Been spending all this time building trust with people um, in the political realm." And so I said to myself, if those are skills that I have, building trust, communication, rapport building, public speaking, where can I use those in another place most effectively? And it was just so funny, man. I was looking right at it. I was looking at it. It was right there. He was on stage telling me what I can do. And I said, oh my gosh, I could go on stage and tell people what they can do. And
Yeah.
that's when I started speaking. Because all the stuff I accomplished, to technically, I was a successful person, right? But it just didn't feel right for me anymore. And that was the big thing that I experienced, was it not feeling it didn't feel like it was supposed to be. I said, there's got to be something else out there for me. And that's what I went for.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No, it's amazing,
Hmm.
man. That's dope. And
Thanks.
I know you mentioned the coaching, and I've been following, man, just like a little bit more, the journey, how you've been kind of just sharing your life and just helping people. Tell me more about your kind of your coaching philosophy, like how you're approaching when you're talking with clients and different people that want to connect with you. Like, what is your process when you're coaching folks?
Well, my first thing is on the first call, I want to discover your hidden dream. What's that thing that you really want to do, but you haven't told anybody about, that you've been ashamed to kind of share out because it doesn't seem like what you should be doing based on your training and background? Like everybody is suppressing something that they want. People come to me for clarity, and I'm like, you don't need clarity. You have clarity. What you need to do is develop a mindset that allows you to own what you
Mm,
really want and say that's okay for me, right? So my first thing to help them do was create that vision. I said, let's go beyond it's a mere thought, right? Let's imagine what it would be like to actually live this life, and to get people excited about the things that they can do. So that's the first thing that I talk about with folks, because they all know, everybody knows what they want, right?
hmm.
They're scared to pursue it. They're scared to
Right.
embrace it. Or they, and even these people that say, well, I don't know what I want, there's all these different things. I'm like, yeah, the one that you keep thinking that you cannot accomplish,
Yeah.
the one that you keep calling impossible, that is the one that you want. Like, let's not mess around here
Yeah.
trying to use proper language on this podcast, but like,
Yeah.
right, let's not beat around the bush here. Like,
Yeah.
there's something that you want, you're just so scared of
Yeah.
going for it. You're scared that you're going to fail. You're scared of what people will think when you say this is what I want. I'm a doctor, but I want to be a YouTuber.
Yeah.
I'm a lawyer, but I want to go be a motivational speaker.
Right.
I own a business, but I just want to paint, right? And people will judge you because everybody is saying, hey, walk this narrow line that we were all taught in school. Don't go to college, be successful, do these things. Bro, there's much more to life than that, right? So
Yeah.
I help people uncover that secret truth that they have within themselves about what they really want to do. And then from there, it's about how do you create the mindset to
Hmm.
actually go out and pursue that? Like, how did I go from I had a lobbying business. I just won top 40 under 40 in Sacramento. I
Uh-huh.
was getting gigs out there speaking. I was making like 15K a month, which is a lot to some people and nothing to others.
Right.
But at the time, it was a lot to me.
Hmm.
And I was on top of the world. And I was like, nah, bro, I'm trying to be a beach bum. Like,
Right.
I want to be anonymous. I don't want to
Right.
be out here known. And because I was trying to reform
Yeah.
myself. And
Yeah.
it's kind of like the butterfly story, needing to go into a cocoon for a little while. San Diego was both my dream destination, but it was also a place for me to step back into myself and say, okay, now,
Yeah.
without the noise, without the pressure, without people's expectations upon me, what do I want to become?
Hmm.
Right. And I help guide people through that process because it is scary to walk away from
Yeah.
everything you've built.
Wow.
It's scary, so how do you develop the courage and the confidence to actually do that?
Yeah.
And the ways that you do that, and this is my coaching framework, it's vision, voice, and value. So first, create the vision.
Hmm.
Second, how do you cultivate an internal dialogue that says, yeah, that's right, this is
Hmm.
me, this is what I'm doing, this is who I am now, this is my dream, I embrace it, I'm gonna do it, there's no stopping me,
Yeah.
this is what I was born to do, there's nobody who can convince me otherwise, I am
Right.
committed. Like, how do you get your mind to a place where you can confidently say those things, right?
Right.
Like,
Right.
F it, I'm out of here, cut ties. Like, I remember
Yeah.
when I told all my clients I was quitting, I had panic attack right after that, but then I was
Wow.
happy I did it.
Mm.
And so that's the second thing. And then the last thing is the value. You and your community, uh, and I have been connected for some time. And part of my journey to getting here was through your organization, was through IYT, right?
Hmm.
And I had to add a lot of value to y'all
Yeah.
for you all to keep me coming back. Number one,
Right.
uh, but then two, to get referrals out to other places, and and then so part of the business I built was honestly based on the referrals I got from your organization. And what I'm getting at there is that the only way for me to live my dream was to serve at an even
Mm.
higher level, right? And so some people think, oh, it's selfish. I'd say to myself, bro, you just want to live at the beach and surf all the time? Like, that seems kind of selfish. But then it was kind of like, well, what
Yeah.
do I have to do to get there? Right. And it
Mm.
was like, I have to serve. I have to step into myself. I have to develop myself first and become the person that I want to be and the person that could provide. the
Yeah.
service I need to provide with speaking and coaching. And since then, I've spoken here, I've spoken in Canada, I've spoken in groups as large as 6,000, and now
Wow.
I don't speak anymore
Mm.
because I mean, I'll still do a speech if it's
Yeah.
education related because I want to help people, but
Yeah.
that's not my main business because that takes me away from where the beach.
Beach. Got
So,
it.
so now what I'm doing is I'm saying, hey, if you're a person who is um, in transition, who has that big dream on the inside that you don't know how to embrace, let me help you. I've been there. I
Hmm.
was at the top of my industry in Sacramento as a lobbyist, as a young Black man owning his own business, getting multiple clients. I could have grown to whatever I wanted, but I said,
Yeah.
this is not where I want to grow. I don't,
Hmm.
this, I could get big here. This is not where I want to be big.
Yeah.
I want to be big, like number one, in honoring the things that are in my heart. That's what's
Yeah.
most important to me now. So
Yeah.
whenever people ask me about success now, I'm like, you would have thought I felt most successful when I was,
Yeah.
running a business, getting awards, and being, celebrated around my hometown. I feel much more successful at the beach, um, knowing that I chose it and that
Yeah.
this is just what I get to do. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I love that you just said about how we define what success means to us because I'm a testament when it comes to coaching. I currently receive coaching right now. And that was one
Hmm.
of the things that my coaches was saying of like, well, how do you define success? Right. Because I couldn't
Right.
get this thing of like, well, I think success is like, it always kind of relayed back to what the others would say what it is, right?
Right.
But when she really got to the core of like, but no, what you say, right? And then
Right.
when that was clear, I was like, she was like, stick with that, focusing on that,
Hmm.
right? And
Hmm.
that's helped me, allowed me to not even focus on like who I bring on to here, right, on this platform, or what I even do with this podcast. But even for other things of like now my time and my energy is like properly allocated because I
Right.
know I have that foundation, right? So I
Right.
definitely agree with you there. And kind of going back to the, since you've made the jump, right? You've been out there in San Diego, living it up, surfing. What's like the biggest takeaway that you got now that you can look back, settled in now? Like, what's kind of been the biggest takeaway from this transition for you?
No matter where you run, you're always right there.
Mm,
That was the one for me. Like I came here and I thought that by moving everything would change. In reality, I just had to face more of myself, more of the things that might keep me from living my dream, more of my, doubts, fears, and insecurities. I mean, it took a lot of courage to take the jump and to get down here. But once I got down here, I was mortified,
yeah.
right? I had to create new connections. I was in a new business. It was a whole situation for me. I would love to say, oh, I just came in like, on my parachute, landed, pulled up to my Range Rover, hopped in, and lived my best life. Nah,
Yeah.
I had to hustle, and
Yeah.
and the hustle was really internal. Was in um, facing all those parts of myself that were now more visible
Hmm.
because I had left that other environment, right? And so that is, I think, one of the biggest takeaways is some people think that they don't have to do the work. If they can just get this change or make this change or do this thing, they'll change. No, you still have to work on yourself no matter what. You can change your environment.
Yeah.
What's happening on the inside is still going to be up to you. It's not going to change instantly because you did something courageous.
Hmm.
It's constant acts of courage over and over and over and over again that gets you transformation, not just a decision to make a jump. So that's one
Yeah.
of the first things. The second thing is understanding that your vision right now for what you want might change, and
Hmm.
that's okay. Um, I just wrote an email to my list this morning. I got an invitation to speak at SoFi Stadium to thousands of
Wow.
people next week. I know, man. I like SoFi Stadium. That's a Super Bowl, bro.
That's a
And
small venue, right? That's a small little venue.
yeah, yeah, it's just tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I said no,
Mm,
and the reason is because it's a business event. It's corporations and um, you know business enterprises, small business enterprises, and that's just not actually what I'm about right now. Like that's not my mission, right?
mm,
My mission is transforming individuals, transforming people who are going through transitions, and allowing them to find the freedom that I found in my life. Now, the reason I say that is because when I left San Diego, the number one thing I wanted was I want to be the top motivational speaker in the world. I want to be the new Les Brown.
mm. Yeah, right.
Now I, right, like that's my guy. I thank him for doing what he did. That's not what I'm going to do, right? I don't actually want to be on the road all these days a year. To me,
Mhm.
that felt like the most significant thing I can do
Yeah.
after politics. Everybody will understand if they see me on stages around the world.
Yeah.
Everybody will be, oh, that guy's a motivational speaker. I get it.
Mhm.
But it wasn't that significant. And I love to speak, but don't get me wrong. I'm good
Yeah.
at it. I like to do it. But the lifestyle wasn't
Mhm.
actually for me. So now, like, I'd much rather be really literally right here with you, right?
Yeah.
On video, doing coaching, doing seminars.
Yeah.
But I want to be mobile, right? There's Bali, there's Puerto Rico, there's Costa Rica,
Yeah.
there's all these other surf spots in the world. I
Yeah.
don't want to have a calendar that keeps me landlocked
Mhm.
to the lower 48.
Yeah.
Um, and so some people will think that they have to be right when they figure out what they want. And I'm
Wow.
saying, you're right now,
Hmm.
but understand that in that pursuit, you will find more clarity. And you might have started this journey just to get to a place where you can see what's truly possible for yourself. And then
Right.
you take a detour. Right.
Wow.
And so it's not, I don't think it's a one and done type thing.
Mhm.
Um, where you make this decision and now I'm clear and I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. That might work for some people. Not everybody has the detours, but sometimes it's just saying, follow your heart, and your heart
Yeah.
will lead you to where?
Yeah.
The next intersection, right?
Yeah.
And then that will lead you to where? The next intersection. There is no destination that you arrive at because you can't stop moving, you can't stop growing. If time don't stop and
Mhm.
aging doesn't stop, then you're not going to stop
Yeah.
finding new things about yourself and new experiences and new desires. And so therefore you have to be ready to embrace the fact that confidence and courage in this next decision about what to do right now
Mhm.
is the most, or I should say, all the certainty I need to move forward. And then
Yeah.
from there, I'll see what else is out there,
Wow.
But that's the big lesson. Like, I don't even want to speak anymore. That was
Yeah.
the whole dream.
Yeah. Wow. No, that's
you know,
incredible, man, Khalif.
Thanks, bro.
And I love that you even said about new things and time. Like as a coach and someone that's it's continuing to grow and develop, like what are you doing like practically to like continue to grow for yourself, right, in your own individual kind of journey, in your own coaching journey, as you're helping other people? What are you doing to like what is it books or podcast? Like what are some of the things that you're kind of like just to stay up to pace and stay up to date?
Honestly, it's audio, it's YouTube videos, it's seminars online that I'll listen to all day or listen to while I'm working. That's the first thing. That's where I get it, and it's really not up to date. Like, it's funny, it's not new stuff.
Mm,
It's foundational principles, right?
yeah.
It's reminding myself of these are the principles of success. These are the principles of achievement. How can I continue to execute them on a daily basis, right? And bringing, uh, making sure that I'm being current in my behaviors, my
Mm,
thoughts, feelings, attitudes, and behaviors towards myself and my personal growth.
yeah.
So that's what keeps me on track. The other thing is too, and I think maybe the most important thing is continuing to live in my joy
Yeah.
and understand and embrace the value of that. Right. Like, I actually didn't get to surf this morning because I was sending that email and I did a couple other things, but
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna surf later. Right.
There you go.
And it's kind of like I'll notice myself shift in energy if I suddenly start working so much that I'm not surfing or I'm skipping things or I'm not working out. And I'm like, I didn't do all this
Hmm.
to be on the grind. I did
Yeah.
all this to be in flow. So I'll bring
Mm,
myself back to that joy place.
yeah.
And centering that joy and purpose is actually, I think, the most important thing I can do for my clients because I remind them through my example to live. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of folks are so worried about achievement. I mean,
Hmm.
I guess I'm achieving things. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm helping my clients achieve breakthroughs, right? And
Right.
and so, it doesn't have to look good online or does it have to feel good in their hearts, right? And so I think
Mm,
so for me, it's what I bring to the table
yeah.
is what I have inside. And so how do I cultivate the best possible energy that I can have on a daily basis to
Hmm.
serve the people that I work with?
Yeah. That's incredible.
Thanks for that.
We've talked about a little bit about, where you've been, kind of where you are. Now let's talk about kind of like what's next. Like, what do you see, in the next few years? What's kind of the future for Khalif looking like?
Really good. Yeah, no, that's exciting. That's a great question. So I'll tell you, it's packaging my teachings into online courses. so that I can reach more people and more people can have an impact. I can only coach so many people. I only
Yeah.
want so many people in my world. I think that if it were, easy to have 100 or 150 one-on-one clients,
Right.
which it sounds impossible, right? It's like,
Right.
that'd be a big caseload for a college counselor at a high
Facts.
school. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
it's
Right.
higher.
Right.
But
Right.
right?
Right. I was gonna say that's actually kind of low,
That'd be like,
but yeah.
yeah, they'd be like, oh my god, you only got 150, or you winning. Uh, but yeah, it's to start to expand my teaching. And honestly, I'm ready to be seen. I have to say that, like I think that for a while I was doing my thing at a pace that was comfortable for me because I needed some time
Mhm.
to kind of heal and to be out of the spotlight and that kind of thing. And so I needed that space to really understand who I am and what I'm offering and how I want to share myself with the world, what level and the modalities and all those things. And now I think I've embraced, and I know that I've embraced that online is the best space to be in.
Mhm.
And I think that when I coming from the old school, the folks who are, I'm 38, right?
Uh-huh.
So Facebook became popular. Facebook wasn't even popular when I first started college. It was just existed,
Right.
right? It wasn't even like a big deal,
Yeah.
right? YouTube didn't exist, and the idea of being fully online, an online entrepreneur, was still a new idea to folks in my generation, and other people adopted it quicker. Took me a little bit longer because I was so used to the
Mhm.
significance of these traditional achievements, going to law school, graduating, being on stage.
Right.
But I think it's just fully embracing this place and serving as many people as I can. So
Yeah.
that means working to grow my Instagram and
Yeah.
working to potentially do some stuff on Facebook. I prefer Instagram greatly over
Yeah.
Facebook, but yeah, that's what it is. It's courses. It's getting my stuff out there to as many people as possible. It's being unapologetic about the fact that I can absolutely help you.
Yeah.
And I want people to take a little sample, get on my Instagram, follow
Yeah.
me, see if you can learn anything from me, check out my freebies, and when my course launch, get my
Mhm.
course and see um, if I can't help to change your life,
Yeah.
and I think and I want to be clear, like I say, I can't help change your life. What I should say is that the knowledge and experiences that I've acquired
Mhm.
over this time frame of walking this journey on my own, that those lessons from that can
Yeah.
change your life because I can't really do anything. All I can do is share, right?
Yeah.
Here's what
Right.
I did, here's how it works, but people can follow that example and achieve life transformation because that's exactly what I did. I had a coach early on, showed me there was a new way of living and a new way of
Mhm.
thinking. And now I'm living in a new way and thinking in a new way. And I want to share that message and share that outcome with as many people as possible.
Love it. It's like you were reading my notes because literally the
Oh,
next thing was
interesting.
how can people get in touch with you? If they are interested to learn more about your coaching or just more about your journey. And I gotta say, when you said the IG page, the IG page is looking nice. I like the aesthetic.
Yes. Hey,
So,
thank you.
but yeah, how can people get in touch with you if they want to learn more?
Yeah, for sure. Come to my Instagram, which is at Caliph Assagai. And then also my website is Caliph.coach. So www.caliph.coach. And that kind of shares exactly what I do with professionals. And so just to be clear, I work with a lot of different people at different stages of their professional career. But I talk about professionals specifically because I think that there's this thing when you've gone through college or graduate school, or even if you've just been in a career for a long time and you're looking to change, that identity piece is
Mhm.
so important. And I think it's important for people to talk to somebody who can really understand what it means to look at an entire business or entire profession and say, I'm good. And
Yeah.
then move over to something that's more artistic and creative, which is what most people want. Most people want to
Yeah.
move to something that's more artistic, creative. They want to move to something that's more connected to nature, that's more free. Like everything we're taught not to do, we're told get that job, be in that seat, make that,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
people want to just live. And so that's what I help them do. So my ideal kind of person to work with is somebody who's trying to make a transition, even if it's to a new career. But it's
Mhm.
really those folks who are saying, I'm at a crossroads right now. I'm unfulfilled with this. I'm trying to figure out what else I can do, if I can do something else, how to get there. Because I want to be happy. I want to be fulfilled. I don't want to just do this because I invested 10 years
Yeah.
in getting here.
Yeah, yeah, amazing. I got one more
Okay.
question before we move to the lightning round, which is
Okay.
one of my favorite segments.
Okay.
But
Well, I'm not sure I was ready for that one.
oh yeah, no, this was intentional. I didn't share these
Okay.
questions
Good.
with you,
Good.
but
Good.
just we have speaking of people that you're talking about and who you coach, like a lot of young professionals tuned into this podcast. That's kind of like the main audience, 25, 35.
Hmm.
years of old.
Perfect.
Like, what would you say to them? Like, what would you leave them at, like a practical gem or nugget that that could help them where they're at? If they're, they've been tuning in, they're like, I like what this guy Caliph is talking about, but still not sure. What would you say to them?
You can do anything, and you're very young. I'm 38. I'm just getting started again. And I'm like, oh God, I got so much time.
Yeah,
I think if you're 25 right now, you can shift to anything you want, and still have the time to get it very, very right. If you're 35, same thing. Um, we put all these limitations on ourselves
yeah,
and we say, I can't do this, I can't do that. And we think that it's because of a lack of ability. It's just because of a lack of decision and a lack of commitment.
yeah.
Um, the one story I can tell you about a friend of mine. This was before I was even really coaching. Well, I was coaching, but I wasn't coaching her. But we had a conversation, and she worked in the Capitol, and she was talking about going to business school and all these things. And I'm trying to advance my career. And I said, "Well, what do you really want to do?" She said, "Well, I'm not really excited about any of this stuff." I said, "Well, what do you really want to do?" She said, "Well, honestly, like I want to be an actress, but my
Wow.
parents say it's unreasonable. My friends say it's unreasonable. So I think that's absolutely reasonable.
Yeah.
And now that was like 2015. She's been living in LA and acting, I think, since maybe the next year. She made that jump real quick.
Wow.
She's been on web series. She's been on Netflix. She was on 13 Reasons Why.
Wow.
Um, and she really went out there and said, I'm going to do it, and did. She's an actress now. Before this, she was a legislative aide. And I just
That's
want people
crazy.
to realize that. I
Yeah.
know, I know. I love that story, right? And
Yeah.
again, we had a really good conversation that I helped to guide her in that direction, but that was already inside of her. That's what she wanted.
Hmm.
And she had to just, buck convention to go after to go out and do it. And
Hmm.
so I think that that's what I want people to know is that the conventional model does not have to be for you. If it's not working for you, it's not working for you. That's why you're here.
Yeah.
So just you can do that thing that you think you can't do, you can do. So go do it. Like that's what it is.
Amazing. 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 Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Khalif.
My
Um,
pleasure.
let's jump into the lightning round.
All
These are
right.
random questions that I did not share with you beforehand. First answer that comes to mind. There's some of them are fun, some of them are very easy. So hopefully
Okay.
we can get through as many as we can.
For sure.
So are you ready for the lightning round?
I'm ready.
Okay. First one. What's the one thing you own that you should really throw out by now?
Oh man. I have clothes in my closet, like a shirt I haven't worn in like 6 years, but I never throw it out. It's like, bro, you're
Yeah.
never gonna put this on. So
Gotta let
there's
it go.
several items.
Yeah.
They're all in my closet. Things where I'm just like, why have you? I moved this to 3 or 4 apartments and I haven't worn it or used it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's some shirts. I
I
probably should
got
get
you.
rid of some of these surfboards too, but
There you
yeah.
go. All right, next one. What is the scariest animal?
Oh man, these are scariest animal, dude. A cobra? I'm not scared of animals, bro.
Okay. 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 He is
Yeah,
not
that's why
scared,
I
y'all.
couldn't think. I
Yeah,
couldn't think.
yeah.
I couldn't
He
think.
said
But you know
none.
what? I wouldn't want to see if I was on a hike.
What?
I would never want to see a grizzly bear. Give me a
Mm,
black bear. Give me a mountain lion. Give me a rattlesnake. I don't want to mess with no
no.
grizzlies.
That's
No
funny that
grizzlies.
you said hiking because literally the next one is what's been the best hiking trail that you've done so far? If you could
I
do that.
think. Yeah. No, I can. I can. It's hard. It's hard. But I think my favorite trail is San Jacinto Peak in like Palm Springs. It's called Mount San
Oh,
Jacinto.
okay.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's long. It's beautiful. A lot of wildflowers,
Yeah.
wildlife. It's a gorgeous place.
But no
But
grizzly
that's a
bear.
difficult
That's
question
good.
too.
Yeah,
This lightning round's
I know.
challenging,
I,
sir.
I I have to put you to the test. All right, here we go. It's gonna be a
Yes.
little bit easier.
All
Favorite
right.
dessert?
Ice cream.
Ice cream. Morning person or night owl?
Morning person. Get me up at 4:30 and leave me alone.
Favorite music artist?
That's a little bit tougher. So I'm gonna say my favorite performer ever is a dude from my college named Dalek Brathwaite.
Hmm.
Then after him, it's the Roots.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah,
Burgers or pizza?
both, dude. What?
There you go. He
I am
said
not
both.
choosing. Yeah, man,
Oh
burger for
man.
lunch, pizza for dinner.
There you go.
But if I had to eat one
Yeah.
forever,
Yeah.
honestly, if I just never had to eat one forever, I would choose pizza, man. There's so much
I had a
variety on a
feeling you would
pizza.
say pizza. Okay.
Yeah, plus it's
Um,
good cold.
yeah. That is true. That's true. Uh, a pet peeve of yours.
Those speakerphone people who walk around on their phones
Uh,
look like having a loud
yeah,
conversation as if I want to hear it.
yeah,
Put your earphones in, dog.
right.
What are you doing?
Facts.
Those people,
Uh,
yeah,
in your high school yearbook, you were most likely to what?
bro. I was most likely to serve on the Supreme Court,
Makes sense. Makes
which is
sense.
funny. I let them all down. Let them all down.
Something that most people wouldn't know about you.
um, I am a nature nerd, like to
Mm.
the point where if I see a new bird, I'm
Hmm.
on Google trying to figure out what it is and check out its migration patterns.
Okay, yeah.
And like if I see a butterfly, I'm trying to identify it. Like
Uh-huh.
I'm like
You're
an
that guy.
amateur
Yeah,
naturalist. Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah. I'll stop the people who are bird watching. What you looking at?
Right,
What's over
right.
there? So I'm like that. I got nature facts. We played a game one time with my neighbors, and it was like this trivia game. I
Hmm.
was getting all the nature stuff. They were like, "Bro,
Right.
where'd you get all this?" Like, so yeah, it's just
Oh man.
where I'm at. Yeah.
All right, I got a few more. Worst
Okay.
nickname given to you.
Milk dud.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
That's pretty bad.
I was younger. I was a little bit chubby. I had a bald head,
Yeah.
and somebody was like, he was like, "We gonna start calling you Milk Dud. You
Oh
look like a
Lord.
little Milk Dud." I said,
Oh,
"God,
that caught
man, I
fire.
can't."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was. I was upset. I should
Of
have never
course.
worn brown. I should have never worn
Oh,
brown. I made a
yeah,
mistake.
yeah, yeah.
Just
Kind of
not my
walked into
color.
that one.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
my color, but it's
yeah,
like
yeah. I got you.
contrast, contrast.
Yeah. All right. Last two here. Biggest lesson you learned so far in 2022.
Who do do a lot of research on who you hire. Yeah, that's like the lesson. I hired
He said that
somebody
hurt. He said that one.
that
That
hurt.
one's recent.
Yeah, like really. Yeah, no, like
Okay.
this week, bro. I had to let her
Oh, okay.
go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like
Cut off.
screen people,
Yeah.
screen them heavily. Uh, that's the one. I'll
Right.
never do that again.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that's
Yeah.
not what you're looking for, but
No.
that's yeah,
Hey. That's gonna help
screen
somebody.
them.
That's gonna help
Yeah,
somebody. All right. Last one. This is to finish the statement. Every leader needs what?
heart.
Ooh, I love that. Every
Every
leader
leader
needs
needs.
heart.
Yeah.
And I love your heart, Khalid. Thank you so
Hey,
much for
appreciate you.
taking your time and your breadth of knowledge and wisdom, man. Just greatly appreciate you. You heard it here, Caliph, episode 44. We'll catch you on the next episode of the Lead Up Podcast. Peace.